Hello everyone and welcome back to Mystic Tides Tarot. Today we will be doing a pick a card hype up sesh. We will be using the Cowgirls and Aliens Oracle for the picking of the piles, and then I will be doing the reading with the Eldritch Overload Tarot. I mean, how cute are they? I live. Okay, so let's find out what our piles are going to be. This is for Hype Up Session Pile 1. Oh, you're the Alien Queen. I will celebrate my successes. Oh, yeah, you better. Okay, now the Pile 2 card. Here we go. The Undertaker. I will go with the flow. Let's actually put them, here we go. And then the last and final card for pile 3. A gang leader. I will prioritize myself and my own needs. Get it. Get it, girl, or boy, or they. Okay. So these are your piles 1, 2, and 3. And take as long as you need. Pause the video if you feel like it. And I will see you in your pile. Timestamps, as always, will be down below. Okay, see you in your pile. Hello, pile 1. The Alien Queen baddies. Let's just take a moment to appreciate all this beauty. The only thing that I would change about this deck is if it was gilded like that. Like, that would just be the last thing. But anyways, let's get into it. Let's get into your hype up sesh pile 1. And you need this hype up sesh because you don't know how motherfucking amazing you are. Even if you show that you are, it's still nothing compared to how truly awesome you actually are. It's like your standards are so high that even if you seem to fail your own standards, they are still above many others. Okay, let's move her up here so we could see all the cards. So yeah, with the 4 of coins, I see exactly what I was saying, that you need to celebrate yourself more. You need to celebrate yourself more because it's almost as if you thinking that you don't need to be celebrated more because you should have done better is continuing to feed into the loop that you're not good enough and you are more than good enough. With the Ace of Coins, we see this opportunity to literally flip the script. Not literally. Flip the coin is what I was thinking, but flip the script is what I'm really trying to say. Flip the script on how you talk to yourself. And I say that too because we have the King of Wands here, and this is the charismatic leader, right? So it's kind of like you need to put that charismatic charm that you put on others on yourself. Talk to yourself in the mirror like you would talk to another person, and it might feel so funny at first because you're also going to realize how much different you talk to yourself. And why should you talk to yourself any less better, does that make sense, than how you talk to other people? That's ridiculous. If anything, you should be talking to yourself even at even higher like regard than you do with a complete stranger, because who are they? You don't know them. I just knocked down an entire pack, 2 packs of tarot cards off my desk. But that's okay. We're gonna keep rolling with it. Okay, so we have 10 of Potions, King of Potions, another King, and then we have the 6 of Coins. So it's like you're being encouraged to create some kind of a balance here. It's like you're so good at going after the goal and achieving the thing and being the person who does amazing, but it's not clicking. Like, yeah, you can accept all those things that I just said, but it's like you're not, almost like I'm over here struggling with being able to even say it. It's like you're not really understanding how much, like, the weight of it. Like, all of your accomplishments, the way that you move in the world, the way that you see things, the way that you are with people, all of who you are. Let's just say you're saying it weighs 20 pounds and in reality it weighs 100. It's like you're underestimating how much you've done because you want to do so much more, and you hold yourself to such high scrutiny that you kind of regret not doing more even now, which can feel kind of bizarre in a way, because it's like you're your biggest cheerleader, but then you also have those moments of being your biggest critic. So it's like we need to balance these energies out. Are you actually giving back to yourself as much as you're taking away when you dish out those critiques? The King of Potions, the King of Wands. We have the charismatic leader, and then we have this, I don't want to say chill, but this person who's going to let the beautiful romanticizing aspect of living life take precedence over the analytical way of living life. And the 10 of Potions in between these two, it's kind of like saying you have the ability to not just be fulfilled when it comes to your accomplishments, your goals, and like the career and the logical type of sector, but you also have the ability to be high achieving internally, emotionally, which is hard to really put on paper, right? Because our emotions fluctuate not just seasonally, not just monthly or weekly, they fluctuate on the daily and sometimes by the hour, depending on what's going on in our life, right? So this is kind of like this reminder of you allowing yourself to celebrate yourself a little bit longer and a little bit more isn't going to take away from anything that you're going to have coming towards you or accomplishments that you're going to be pursuing. But what it is going to do is it's going to, in addition to, also give you this emotional fulfillment that maybe you haven't really been feeling. Okay, so let's see what else. 5 of Wands. Yeah, it's kind of like you might have been fighting yourself on that for a while. Maybe you've heard that advice elsewhere and you kind of like scoffed at it, or you were kind of like, yeah, I'll celebrate all of my wins later for like an hour, and then you don't really. Or you buy yourself something and you think that that's good enough, and I'm telling you right now, it's not. Yeah, you deserve so much more. You deserve to find a whole new way of existing that doesn't rely on just these outward exterior accomplishments. You know, there's so much more for you in this life. And it's not, like I said, it's not about negating or taking away from those other accomplishments or to stop pursuing them. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying you can create more space in your life to be fulfilled in more than just that area. And you've done so much in the areas that you've accomplished things in that you can actually afford to pause on that for a little bit or slow your roll as you pivot or turn a little bit to the left or turn a little bit to the right, and also work on those other areas of your life because you deserve it. You deserve to be truly happy and to truly bask in the joy of what you've done so far, because you're so not done yet. Okay, pile 1, this is the end of your hype up sesh. I hope it gave you something, and I'll see you in your next reading. Goodbye. Hello, pile 2. Welcome to your reading. You chose the pile of the Undertaker. I will go with the flow. The Undertaker, this card comes with themes of ending cycles, themes of death, metaphorically speaking. And this is your hype obsession. So I'm interested to know why you picked this specific pile, but that's also none of my business. So let's just get your hype obsession started. The Hermit. Okay. The Empress. Beautiful. 3 of Coins. Okay. So you're someone who's not afraid of the dark side. You're someone who's not afraid to look at her own shadow and has probably done a fair amount of shadow work, which amazing. I love that for us. And I say us because that also makes this reading a lot more fruitful. People who do the work make anything a lot more fruitful. And that can sound like a personal opinion, but I feel like it's a fact. Like whenever you put in work on yourself in anything, you're going to become that much more adaptive, and you're going to be able to actually go with the flow when things get topsy-turvy, which that's what life does, right? It shakes us up every now and then. The Hermit and the Empress coming out back to back is telling me that you're someone who knows, like I said, who does their shadow work, who knows how to go within and check yourself before you wreck yourself. It doesn't mean that you're perfect, okay? But it means that you like to analyze why it is that you do what you do. You want to know how you tick and why you tick that way. And I love people like that, okay? I love people like that. I think I would classify myself as someone like that. The Empress coming out is also saying that you do this out of love for your own existence. I'm not trying to say, oh, you love yourself or you don't or anything like that. I mean, out of existence to be alive. It's almost like whether you feel this all the time or not, you definitely have this appreciation for what it's like to be a human or to be a soul having a human experience. It's something that you want to show gratitude to source, the universe, God, deity, whatever it is that you believe in. You want to show that gratitude to them. And you do so by trying to find out these little intricacies of how it is that we work as a soul living in this meat suit, okay? Three of Coins is telling us that you could use a little bit more, I want to say outside time, time outside of what is your everyday comfort zone. So if your comfort zone is to hermit a little bit, then maybe going out with some of your friends, if you have acquaintances or friends that you like to hang out with, and if you don't, putting yourself in a public space, even if you're like doing hermit activities, like let's just say you're reading a book, you're studying something new, or maybe you're also liking to read your own tarot cards, you know, going to a place that feels safe and then doing it in a public space, not to create a spectacle, but just to kind of start feeling what it's like to be around other people. That's going to really help you a lot. And I know this is a hype obsession, which I feel like I started off with and now it's going into advice, but I'm just showing what the cards show me, okay? I'm not here to fight with the cards. Had a technical malfunction there. But okay, so we have the Three of Wands, then we have the Knight of Swords. Yes, that's the Knight of Swords. Wheel of Fortune, Ace of Potions, Ace of Cups, Ace of Wands. Also got that for pile 1 at the very end. And then the Six of Swords. Okay, so Three of Wands. You've been putting in work, like I said, here, when it comes to this specific area of your life. And it's kind of like you also need to not just always put in the work, but you need to see what that work now has allowed you to do. Like, it's possible that when you put yourself out there or hang out with friends or start talking about these new things that you've learned while you were in hermit mode, you end up finding that there's a lot more benefits than just this introspection, than just these epiphanies that you had when you were isolated. You know, it's very possible that there's a lot more to gain from that, and you're not going to see it unless you're doing it amongst others, okay? The Knight of Swords, this is a very fast-moving knight. This knight is jumping in before thinking twice about things. And even though that seems very reckless and scary, this comes out a lot of the times when we could not be further from embodying that. So it's kind of like you think too much before you think about going somewhere, doing something, to the point where you psych yourself out sometimes, even when in the beginning you were excited to do something. And you're being encouraged to do a little bit more of this leaping of faith, a little bit more of this, like, sometimes it feels right and you just have to go with it. And this is also part of like trusting yourself, right? The Wheel of Fortune is kind of like saying, this is the time to do that. Your fortune is in your house right now. It's time to take the risks now, because it's not always in our house. We don't always have fortune in our house. Sometimes it's time to, you know what? It's scary outside. We need to just stay inside right now. This is telling us outside is really nice right now. So if there was ever a time where you want to take a little bit of a risk, now is the time, okay? Ace of Potions says being able to step out and take this small or maybe slightly larger risk is going to open up this new pathway where we're going to be able to feel good, okay? Not saying that you don't feel good now, but it's kind of like, you know, when you feel something in your gut, that's in your intuition, right? Your intuition is saying, oh, don't do that. or, ooh, you really want to do that. It's like you're going to upgrade the ability to understand your intuition by doing so. It's going to open another level of understanding in your intuitive tool bag, if you will. Ace of Wands, another new opening. So it's kind of like you got these double yes cards because the aces are yeses, right? So yes, take a little bit of a risk. If a lot sounds extremely intimidating, take a little bit of a risk. Don't think about it too much. Luck is on your side. And we're making room for these new beginnings because you've done the work. Like, what's the point of doing all this work just to hoard information? What are you doing with that information? How is it going to make your life actually better? Because isn't that what we're seeking after all? Aren't we trying to enjoy and get more out of life? And this is what this is trying to get to, right? Trying to encourage you to do these things. Because even though this is a hype up session, because we're hyping up the amount of work you've done, it's also kind of trying to encourage you and tell you you've done so much. You need to go out there and test these waters. The Six of Swords. The Six of Swords, this artwork is interesting, okay? Because the typical Six of Swords does not look like this at all. But the Six of Swords reminds us that sometimes we have to make exits that we did not feel like making, okay? And this feels like one of those moments. Maybe you're really reluctant on exiting your house. Maybe you are an actual true hermit, or you're really reluctant on stopping this like major study you're doing on this one subject that you're so in love with to go out. It feels like going out would be the waste of time. And I'm telling you, it is not. Okay. You also need time to rest and a break away from those things that you're learning so that they can integrate. So they have time to marinate and cook into your psyche, into your spirit, so they can continue to breed bigger upgrades in the future. Okay. So I hope you understand that this is supposed to be a hype obsession. I feel like I was just giving you a bunch of different pieces of advice, but the tarot was pushing me, right? The tarot tells me, okay, what direction are we going to go in? And it's telling me, you already know how good you are at the things you do. And maybe you reached out to this reading to have like a feel good reading. And I hope you did get a little bit of that. But more than anything, I felt like I was kind of like scolding you a little bit, and maybe you didn't take it that way, but that's kind of how I was feeling. I was feeling like, oh my God, like I don't want them to think that I'm scolding them, because I'm not. I don't want you to have any regrets. And I understand all too well what it's like to be comfortable in your hermit mode, to be comfortable in your information gathering, to be comfortable in just absorbing knowledge because it feels good. But at some point, we also need to step outside of those comfort zones. We also need to understand that we have more to offer than just our own pleasure, our own existence. Like, there's so much more out there that we're going to get from community. So much more out there that we're going to get from seeing the fruits of our labor amongst the living, if you will. And I say that too, because this is the Undertaker, right? This is someone who's very comfortable being by themselves and working amongst the dead, right? Maybe not so comfortable working amongst the living. And, you know, I feel like that just brings the whole reading full circle at this point. I feel like I already hammered the last nail in the coffin, pun intended, with this hype up sesh that turned into like a hybrid advice sesh. I don't know, but I hope you got something out of it, pile 2, and I'll see you in your next reading. Goodbye. Hello, pile 3, and welcome to your reading, your hype up sesh. You chose the oracle card, the gang leader. I will prioritize myself and my own needs. Interesting, right? Because they're the leader. So why are they talking about prioritizing themselves? I mean, I'm pretty sure you can already see where this is going, but we got the Hermit again. Pile 2 also had the Hermit. And we have the Devil. The Knight of Swords. That was in pile 1. Not that you care, but Knight of Swords. King of Swords. 9 of Coins. Oh, it's always nice to see the 9 of Coins for multiple reasons. 5 of Coins. 7 of Coins. And Queen of Wands. Also love to see the Queen of Wands. Let me just adjust all of these. Excuse the glare. Okay, gorgeous. This is your hype up sesh. And I feel like you're also reaching out for this hype up sesh because you at some level understand that you haven't been giving yourself enough time to play, enough time to really just let loose. And maybe this has to do with the fact that you just have so many things that are weighing on you that you feel responsible for. You're a leader. And that means that a lot of the times other beings, other people are going to take priority over your needs, your wants, etc., etc. This cannot go on for much longer, though. This is something that you're being encouraged to do, which is to take time to yourself. And this doesn't mean that you have to drop everything else and everything else has to go to shit. And that's the sacrifice that has to be made in order for you to be able to give yourself the respected time you need. Okay? Because with the Knight of Swords here and then the Nine of Swords here, you can't even do that if you wanted to. Like, you won't let yourself do that. Like, you would... Somebody would have to pry it out of your cold, dead hand, basically, for you to just let all of the responsibilities that you have drop like that. So that's not what's being said here. What is being said is that you get to dictate because you are the leader here. You get to dictate. Okay, that just sounded weird when I said it that last time, so I had to re-say it. You get to dictate when what happens. That also includes how long certain things go on for. So you need to carve some time out for yourself to play, because if you don't, you're going to start seeing things weighing heavier on you than they naturally would. And you're going to start feeling a lot more chaotic than you have in the past, when you had more of like, I guess when you were more refreshed is the better way of saying this. The King of Swords, the Nine of Coins. This is, like I said, giving yourself the things that you need, making yourself feel like you actually are the one that is going to make sure that you're taken care of. Because when you're the leader, who's taking care of the leader, right? The leader leads. Like, I don't know why I wanted to say pack mentality here, but like, if we're talking about a pack, then the pack would make sure that their leader's okay. But maybe you don't feel that that's what you're a part of, and that's problematic. So if you can't lean on your pack, so to speak, then you need to find a way to lean on yourself, which means you need to carve out time for that, right? With the Five of Coins, we have this feeling of things are feeling just really like not the best. But the Seven of Coins reminds us that we understand what it takes to get the job done. And that's not just in the work and in the labor that we don't like to do, or in the things that must be done. This is also in the area of taking care of yourself. And the Queen of Wands here tells me that you know exactly how to actually let loose and have fun. You know how to enjoy life, but you haven't been letting yourself take a break. You've been slowly letting everything else chip away at the time that you used to put and carve out for yourself. And this is supposed to be a hype up sesh, but I feel like it's almost like I'm telling you, like, you need, it's almost like you're supposed to hype yourself up. That sounds so mean right now. I don't know why. Maybe you don't think that's mean, but I feel like it sounds so mean. I got interrupted there for a second. But yeah, I feel like it sounds kind of mean, like, oh, you need to hype yourself up. Because it's kind of like, I came here to feel better and you're just giving me more work to do after you literally told me I'm doing too much work. What the fuck? You know, like, I understand that frustration, but at the same time, it's kind of like, I don't know. I don't know how to say this without being like, I need to pull a card on this because, yeah, let's pull another card. Four of Swords. That's the card of rest. This is the card of needing to recover. And you need to recover. You need to create, I don't know if, I'm not going to say a full day because maybe that's not even remotely possible for you, but maybe 15 minutes every day even 5 minutes every day. A small closing your eyes gratitude practice, looking in the mirror and complimenting yourself, saying affirmations, or just hugging yourself even. I know that sounds maybe weird or lame to someone, but it's kind of like you want to be the one that hypes yourself up. You don't want to have to rely on tarot readings. You don't want to have to rely on other people to show up for you because they may or they may not. The only reliable source you know that you have is yourself. And the only way you can show up for yourself and everything else you have going on in life is if you make the time and you remember that you have to recover too. Like, you're intelligent enough to understand everything that I'm saying. I don't feel like I need to explain it any further. But yeah, I feel like you were almost rejected a hype up sesh. That sounds so fucked up. Because yeah, like I'm here to do a hype up session. I feel like I'm just saying you need to play more, you need to let loose more, you need to rest more, you need to hype yourself up more. Like giving you more tasks when that's the last thing that you need, but you have the ability to give yourself everything that you need. That's why we have the 9 of coins here. You know, she's that bitch. And the gang leader got to be the gang leader because that was the baddest there was. Nobody could challenge that position. It was a no-brainer. And the reason it says you're going to prioritize yourself and your own needs is because if you're down for the count, who the fuck is going to be the leader? Like, nobody is going to be better than you. And that's not an excuse to, like, keep you there forever either, obviously. But it's kind of like saying, I guess this is where the hype up comes in. It's like saying nobody can do it like you. Nobody can. And that's why you have to take care of yourself, babe. That is the #1 reason. You deserve it. Okay? Okay, pile 3, I hope you got something out of this reading, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.